Yasodhanandana Prajajaram I started with the system and the languages from Panajaya, Bhagwatam and then Bhakti Swami Prabhupada Maharaj. Good. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrada Kacharya. I started with the system and the languages from Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasa Titaga goes on the front of Good. Jai. Ananta Poetry Vaishnav. Jai. Namacharya Siddhari Vaishnav. Jai. Francis Sahana. Hare Krishna Chaitanya. Sì, vince, salve secondo, fatto prima pigliare, si rada, gopa, gopi, ada, da. Vrindavan ki jai, Sudan ki jai, Samayapanavari Dham ki jai, Jagannath Dham ki jai, Kandamai jai, Stosidi Bhakti jai, Dhanavadi jai, our glory is to the sum of the voice. Glory is to the sum. Glory is to the glory is to the glory. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, Text 34. Title of this chapter is Conversation between Nada and Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskricha Naram Cheva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Adhyayam Nasta Vedas Padam Vesu Bhagavan So, this goes, Etadhyaturachitanam Matras Pasi Jayamuhu Pravasindu Plavo Disto Haricharya Nuvananam Etadhyaturachitanam Matras Pesa Aseshayamuhu Pravasindu Plavo Disto Haricharya Nuvananam. Is someone try? Hey, this little kids, can someone try? All right, now to do. Word for word, translation, and translation of purport by Divine Grace is confirmed Acharya, Sri Abhashan, Bin Bhakti, Dance, Swami Prabhupada, King, Sri Prabhupada, King. It had this, he started with Atulachitana, those whose minds are always full of chaos and anxiety. Matra objects of sense enjoyment. Spasa, senses. Ichaya, by desires. Muhu, always. Navasindu, ocean of nations. Savaha, both. Distaha, experience. Ari, Ari Chaya, activities of Hari, personality of Godhead. Anuvananam, constant recitation. Translation: it is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of care and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nations on a more suitable boat. First, start chanting of the transcendental anxiety activity of the personality of God. Please kindly responsibly repeat. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their sense objects can cross the ocean of nations on most suitable boats. Constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of God. The symptom of purpose, the symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object of satisfaction. So, Narada Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord Himself. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artist, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his external associates like the gopis and Lakshmis. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, by His causeless mercy, descends on the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of worldly men, but at the same time, extraordinary, because He is Almighty. It does so for the benefit of all conditioned souls, so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of nations, the source of all miseries. This is stated from personal experience by such by such an authority as Sri Narada. And we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow in the footsteps of great sage, dear most devotee of the Lord. Form again, miracles, yeah, Jnana, so, Saigo, Tiche Jaya Mano, Stop, Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Sarvabhauma, Buddhaya, Pantu, Chaitanya, Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Vishnu Padaya Krishna, Vastaya Bhule, Timate Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Namaste, Saraswati, Gaurava, Nirvishesa Sanyavadi Pasat, Mancha Kalpataya Vichar. Now the morning, he's talking about his lived experience. When he have to give some narrative, and if it is based on objective thinking, um, that is not a lived experience. Lived experience means something you yourself have experienced. You can interview people and they give you some opinions, some idea about a phenomenon or about a concept, but that's not your lived experience. So now that one is talking about his lived experience. In research, this is called what? Yes, the researchers. Lived experience is what? What is the what approach is that? Huh? Okay. What? Qualitative is a methodology. Methodology and approaches. We have three major methodologies: qualitative, mixed, and quantitative. But we also have approaches. For instance, your research could be based on qualitative scoping analysis or document review. But this is not document review. Or your research could be based on having to gather data through extraction of files or from from research participants, from specialists in the area. And now I'm not talking about what he knows from specialists in the area. He's talking about his own lived experience. So that approach is basically uh, a phenomenological approach. Phenomenology. Phenomenology has to do with lived experience. And for a sage, that's what we want to hear. To get us motivated, to get us inspired. I mean, it's like a child has written about the different stages in chanting the holy names. So when people hear about Ruchi, taste for the holy name, they want to get there. And sometimes they don't, there's a delay. They become frustrated. They stop the chanting. They are sometimes even abandon the process. But it hasn't got to be like that because there are certain intrinsic and extrinsic factors, external and internal factors, or endogenous and exogenous factors that militate against our progress in the chant. For instance, there are 10 offenses to be avoided. If we miss the point in avoiding any of those offenses, it could militate against uh, our lived experience regarding Ruchi. So, yeah, now that's talking about his own lived experience. Uh, that's very interesting because I remember reading about Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, one devotee wanted to meet Prabhupada. And when he went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada was shedding tears. He was crying. They paid obeisance and asked Prabhupada, what is the problem? Your devotee crying. What is the problem? Americans, they don't mix words. They can ask you anything. So the devotee asked Prabhupada, why is he crying? Why is he weeping, shedding tears? So Prabhupada said, now he was reflecting and appreciating. There were tears of joy. Reflecting and appreciating the mercy of his spiritual master. And by the mercy of his spiritual master, Lord Krishna just came here. He was playing on the lawn there, on the grass. So this is lived experience. He saw it, not a dream, face to face. So sometimes people ask, can you show me God? Do you have the qualities to see God? Prabhupada had the qualities to see God. He was seeing Krishna. Krishna will come and give him instructions. I remember on an occasion, someone asked Prabhupada, what is super soul doing in my heart now? And the Prabhupada looked and he's sitting down. Yeah, so When we hear about Prabhupada's experience, his own lived experience, his realizations, what does it do to us? It, it gives us a sense of spiritual belonging and motivation, inspiration to move forward. It's real. You can experience Krishna. It's real. You can experience Ruchi. And Lord Brahma is very proud of this is son, sage amongst the demigods. Narada. He said Narada is the word. Narada carrying a whole lot of word. Narada is word. What is a word? He's carrying Krishna Prema, distributing Krishna Prema all over the universe. That's a real word. You can get money. And how many people can get Krishna Prema? He can be a billionaire like Trump and still have 91 charges in the law court. That's not work. It does it anxiety. You're thinking, oh, but so I'm going to be spending the rest of my life in prison. You can be a billionaire being all types of anxiety. Like Trump is a typical case. He has 91 charges. So tell me how he's going to be free from all the charges. The probability of this getting free from all the charges is 1 infinity. In other words, most unlikely. So this is our life. We chase after the shadows of happiness without recognizing. There's no problem chasing after happiness. But what is real happiness? And therefore, a proper mentions in the purpose that people are chasing after sensual happiness, but he doesn't give them satisfaction. What does it imply? There are two different things. There is satiation and there is satisfaction. Satiation means you full, like you eat, and then you get satiated. You don't eat again. And you have to eat again. I remember when I was a kid, the reason why I stopped eating rice was since when I was a kid. Because I will eat rice. My belly is full, satiated. And then I go out to play. In 30 minutes, again, I'm hungry. I say, what? What type of eating is this? People just look at me like a joke. So I stopped eating rice. I told my parents, no eating rice. Give me something else that will be retaining my body at least for some time. So when you eat and you get full, again you have to eat. There is no satisfaction in eating. You only get satiation. There is no satisfaction in self gratification. You only get satiation. You could be satiated. So that so-called pleasure, sensual pleasure, it only gives us satiation. So we'll come back to it. I mean, it's like my case. I eat the rice, close my belly, I'm happy. It's a small boy. I go out to play, and 30 minutes time, I'm home. And therefore, we have to do something. And the Lord knows the problems we are having. So he descended on the planet, inducted various pastimes. He played around like an ordinary human being, except for his devotees who are able to recognize. Everybody else thinks he's just like any other human being. And for those who even come to recognize his mystic cities, his transcendental activities, they just think that, oh, Krishna, this is very powerful. So it takes a lot of pious activities for someone to recognize, identify, and recognize Krishna. It takes even a lot of demand for someone to give his life to Krishna, to worship Krishna. You may know that, oh, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and not have the zeal to worship. So, therefore, we have very few people. In Vaishnava tradition, we have very few people on the planet who are Vaishnavas compared to other religious activities or religious traditions. But this is the platform that can enable us to become extricated from the shackles of material suffering. So Krishna consciousness is like it's like a PhD. Not many people. How many people on the street have PhD? Yeah, it is like that. They are a minority, but a significant minority. And therefore, it's a pride. It's a devotional pride, social pride to be practicing Krishna consciousness. Because anywhere you go as a practitioner, you stand distinct. And the Lord simply came to enhance our sense of inclination towards wonderful activities. The Lord, He came. People like social life. People like to read about love, love stories. So Krishna knew exactly, and he came to play the role of, you know, a lover with the gopis. He did extraordinary things for people to wonder. Ah, he had 16,108 wives. How, how was he able to maintain? Krishna is Krishna. God, he has a, if he has a need, it's not like an ordinary human being who has to, if you have two wives, then one day you have to sleep with this person, then the other day you have to go to the other person, then the other wife is empty. I mean, husband is not there. He has to wait for another turn. The Christian wasn't like that. He expands into 16,108 forms and had, 16,108 palaces. So he was giving quality time to his wife on daily basis. Had a program in Maya for one program. And so one guy invited me for lunch. I said, no. I'm not lacking food to eat. I come from America. I'm not having a walk, but every month I have money the government gives me for feeding. Okay, so I'm not looking for food. If you want me to come to a place for lunch, arrange for some of your friends to come and we'll also have a talk. So he arranged that. So after the main as devotional talk, I was also mentioning about how we should see the example of the avatars. Ram avatar, Krishna, when he always came with his associates, his expansions. So I said, children in the home, they need other siblings to play with, to be able to promote their cognitive abilities. And it was like a shock because some of them, they have single kids. I think about two of them, they have single kids. And I asked the mother of one of those kids that, why are you suffering this boy? His attention ever in your home? She said, no, he always goes. I said, because he has nobody else to play with at all. He can't come and play with you. First, she said that, oh, is the coming of the boy to be born in this type of environment? You create bad karma for the boy. You are ignorant. You don't accept that this is your ignorance. Or about child psychology and child development. And people marry without understanding anything about the psychology of the opposite sex, even their own psychology. Not to speak about child psychology and child development. And so they want to imitate some people in the West who have single kids. And also some people they marry, they don't give quality time to their families. So after the talk, we were taken to Southern. So one of my friends is what do you call this doctor also do physiotherapist. So I said, hey, Prabhu, your wife is happy? You're treating your wife nicely? He said, yes. He said, you sure? I will ask her. And so after taking to Southern, so the wife, she cooks for me too. So one of the persons who cooks for me in my airport. So I went to see her, a young couple. So I asked him, Mataji, I just spoken from you, and I want to cross check with you. He said, he's treating you very nicely and you're happy. And she said, no, no, no. Sometimes some Indian women can also be very bold, you know. So I said, what is the problem? He said, it's not being around, it's not giving me time. I said, hey, Prabhu, you hear him? You said that she is happy, you're treating her very nicely, but she's complaining. So when I said that, you know, uh, when you're happy, your wife is also happy, sit her down and ask about the things you're doing in the family, in the home that she doesn't like, that you need to adjust yourself for a more conducive, loving environment. You know what she told me? She said, Maharaj, he doesn't need to ask me. I already been telling him. No, Krishna has created a wonderful environment for us, a wonderful leaders for us to emulate. Krishna was very attentive to members of his community, to the needs of his queens. Therefore, what Prabhupada mentions here is so relevant in today's practical day-to-day life that yes, we look after sense gratification, but we're never ever satisfied. See, I try to explain the difference between satiation and satisfaction because it seems like, you know, someone who doesn't understand that those concepts, they'll be thinking, what's Prabhupada saying? No, I feel satisfied after sex. I feel satisfied after eating. I feel satisfied after drinking. What is the Prabhupada saying? This, you're not really satisfied, you satiate. Because after some 30 minutes, you go for it again. You become, those are the cares and anxieties. Material world is a network of anxieties. One anxiety is over, another one comes up, another one comes up, another one, like that. In that way, you know, we are impaired. We have the impulses to be able to pursue this and pursue that. So, personal experience is good, but our own personal experience as conditioned souls, it really doesn't matter much. But we hear about the personal experience of the acharyas, of the sages like Deva Rishi Narada, then we can really implement those strategies in our lives to make uh, a positive spiritual change or even a positive professional change. Krishna gave us so many ideas, gave us so many uh, strategies for our professional development, for our social development, for our devotional and cultural development. The problem is to implement, how to implement those strategies. We don't need to. He has already developed the strategies and is giving us instructions. So the sages also come, they repeat the same thing. So the Lord is very attractive. People, we have to, if we want to be free from all this network of anxieties, we have to become involved in sonic, what I call sonic therapeutics, chanting Krishna's names. Yeah, because no amount of efforts, personal efforts, will relieve us from anxieties. Okay, we have anxiety to get plenty of money. Then we'll get the money. Like Trump, we'll still have a problem of how to control the senses, how to control what we say. Trump even had a case of rape, and he was found liable. The woman sued in court, and he was found liable, $5 million awarded to the woman. So you can become the president of the United States, and you're in a mess without self-management. Huh? So the chanting enhances so many positive values in our lives that enable us to become free from the network of anxiety. Forget about going back home, back to God. But materially speaking, we have so much to gain from that. Now we can, a prophet said, we should, there's no need to change our talking point, our talking, thinking, feeling. That we can just replace the sensory objects with our Christian's activity. And we are perfect. We are good to go. We're not being asked to stop talking. Talk about Christian. We're not being asked to stop thinking. Think about Krishna. Krishna said, always think of. So the thinking, feeling, and willing, talking should not be stamped out. We should only change the topic, the object of our thinking, the object of our feeling, the object of our thoughts. Because people come together. Materialists, they come together. Business people, they come together. They talk about the business transactions. Young boys and young girls come together, non-devotees. They talk about their sexual exploits with the opposite sex. Oh yeah, I saw this when I was in high school. All that you hear, apart from the subject literacy matters, apart from that, the second thing is about sex. It's all over the place. And if you're not involved in talking about that, it's like, hey, what is wrong with this person? You sure you're not? So in this way, the cultures of different communities, different environments, different ages is so distorted. And so Krishna realizes the need to be able to transform people. And even though he came and enacted all this wonderful pastime, not everyone has the merit to participate in hearing and glorify God. In most cases, they have a butcher mentality. Bhagwatam mentions Nivritata, She, Pajya, Bhavasada, Sutra, Manodhira. This medicine, the glorifier of Krishna, is the panacea that helps to heal us from material addiction, material affection. And this medicine is taken not through the mouth, through the ear. Baba through the mouth. Through the ear. The medicine is taken through the ear. That's a good medicine, right? You not feel the taste, whether if some medicines are bitter. So when you take the medicine through the ear, and it transforms. But the chanting is emphasized in this purpose. How it helps to the transformative effects of the chanting. There are so many things that we can gain. If even we don't want to go back to God, we can become serious in Krishna consciousness and create a positive social change in our lives by being able to censor, self-monitor our thoughts, behavior, so that we don't get into trouble. But that is not available for the people out there who are not engaged in the study of this, the Puranas, study of the Bhagavatam. Emphasis is not laid on how to change their thoughts and ideas by investing on glorifications of Lord Krishna. So we have an advantage, and the acharyas are giving us their experience about chanting. Ajamil chanted the holy names, and he was released by, and the Vishnu Dutas came to the rescue. There's so many practical examples even in our scriptures of similar cases. The chanting is real, it's part of it, and people experience it. Nada Muni has also told us about his experience. Any comments or questions? Class stops at 7:30. We have about 6.5 minutes for questions. Any question? No? All right. Okay. We need to take personal experience. So sometimes when we hear someone's personal experience, so sometimes we experience trauma as well. Huh? Trauma. Trauma. Okay. Something else. So in the situation, one feels one is hearing, he may feel that I am in a better position. Like I do not feel the trauma. I'm in a better position than him. So in this situation, how that person who is hearing will try to grasp something from what is it that is trying to tell. I don't understand what. Someone who is from a personal experience, someone who is hearing from the person who is taking from his personal experience is quoting something, some trauma case, trauma experience. Okay. So the person who is hearing, so what he thinks that I am in a better position because he has felt the trauma. So now I'm in a better position. So why should I hear from him? Because he has felt the trauma, and I'm in a better position. How can I grasp something from him that's painful? Can you translate as it? So I'm saying if someone is talking about his traumatic lived experience to me, I'm hearing. Uh, so I am not experiencing the trauma, hearing about. So the two things he's asking: what, how should I handle? And should I jump into hearing about his traumatic experience at all? Huh? That's what. How should I help you? Oh, okay. As preachers, we have people come to us with all types of challenges, and in some cases they have some problems. They have some bad or traumatic experience, and someone is telling us about their traumatic experience. It means that that is being done out of trust and love, and the person should be protected in the sense that you don't go and you don't take the person into the streets. You don't go and tell other people about. Even your closest friend, you shouldn't tell them about what the person did. Sometimes we want to hear everything that someone else and somebody are discussing, or the guru and somebody are discussing. I remember, one of my mentees in America. So she was actually my secretary at that time. So I was speaking with somebody on the phone, and she wants to hear what we were talking. I asked her that. So you have problems. You have told me so many of your problems. You didn't tell your parents. You told me so many of your problems. Should I tell your problems to some of my disciples? She said, no, these are confidential. So I said, this. I said, this person is relating something confidential. Why you want to? So I remember I think I was telling this some recent class. So I remember when I was having this liver problem. So I was in Delhi, and then I was taking the temple. Some devotees took me to the liver specialist clinic. So when I went to see the doctor, so the devotees they went into the room with me, and the doctor told all of them to leave. That is a tradition in patient care. They treat your what you want to share. The doctor treat what you share with them confidential with them. So they don't want anybody else to be there, even when the doctor is discussing it. In most cases, that's the doctor here. If I'm wrong, tell me. Is that correct? Yes. So, if someone, this is a very important point. We hear people's problems, people's challenges. And if someone is sharing their traumatic experience with us, what happens traditionally is that they get relieved from that traumatic effect by sharing. I mean, it's like you have a photo size sheet of paper, and then you divide it into two and give it to your friend because they wanted the paper to write something down for their friends. So you no longer have a full sheet of paper. You have half sheet of paper. That's what sharing does. So when Rupa Goswami mentions about having a confident, confiding in a confidence in the Upadisambhava, Rupa did not give the details, the rationale behind it. But this is the psychology of sharing. And you don't go and tell your heart to somebody you don't. If someone is telling us about their traumatic experience or something bad in their lives, it means they trust us. And we cannot abuse that. We cannot take that person to the street. It's against the norms of professionalism. It's against the norms of the caring profession. So, as preachers, as priests, we are also like spiritual caregivers, spiritual care providers. And so it is very important for us to understand that people come to tell us their stories, But it means that they trust us. We cannot at any time disburse, share. I mean, it's like sometimes you receive a message and there's a disclaimer. This message cannot be shared with anybody else. Yeah, it is like that. And so, yeah, we have to understand if someone tells us something, it means they trust us, they, they love us, and we should not betray that trust. Husband. We need us to also to be very astute spiritually. Because if someone comes to tell us about, for instance, their their horrible experience, say someone is raped, and they come to reveal to us, it's very traumatizing. And what traditionally happens is that because the sharing has an impact on diminishing the traumatic effect, we also have to be able to understand that if we are not astute spiritually and we keep receiving this type of energies, we get affected too. I mean, it's like someone coming to tell you about illicit sex life. You get affected too. So, what when we are on the receiving end or when we are listening to somebody, we should understand that we are participating in the drama. We are not free. We are involved. We are involved. If you are hearing Krishna Katha, you get purified. If you are hearing Griham Katha, if you are hearing Griham Katha, you get polluted also. Something. So the hearing process or the sharing process is something very intricate and is beneficial for both parties. Like someone giving hearing the Bhagwatam class, they benefit. The speaker also benefits. So hearing in all circumstances benefits people, the both parties, they reap some results. So we need reinforcement every day. That's why we chant in the morning every day. Because just going to the world or being around for people to come to dump on us their traumatic experience, and we don't get the spiritual reinforcement, they could affect us. Yeah. And that's why in some cases people just say they're busy, they're busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. They don't want to listen to you. But the world needs people who are listeners. All of us, we need someone who will listen to us. Otherwise, it makes no meaning. If you have a problem, you don't have someone to share because the person claims they're busy. And that goes on. Huh? So the sharing is important. And Rupa Goswami prescribed it in his 6 strategies for loving relationship. Is that correct? So we have uh, we have the stuff. It's just that sometimes we have to deepen our understanding of what we have so as to appreciate it more. And that is why we don't. That's one of the reasons why Prabhupada forbids us from involving in Graham Qatar. If someone has some problems, they should share with somebody that they trust, not somebody who take them to the street. And we should be responsible spiritually, devotional, astute, because we do share some of those energies when people come to dump their traumatic stories on. And we should not be afraid. Krishna is there to protect us. Prabhupada is there to protect us. We are soldiers working for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Mahaprabhu, when Haridas was then beaten to how many marketplaces? 22? Yeah, Lord Chaitanya was taking all of the pain. So it's not that you're not going to be beaten, but the Lord will take responsibility. He will take the pain. So when people come to dump their traumatic narratives on us, we should understand that the Lord comes to the rescue. That we should have the knowledge-based area to be able to help out those people. And if we don't have, we should direct them to professionals. In devotional communities now, we have many, many professionals. We have medical professionals. I remember, it's in most cases, some of the developing countries, these quacks are very dominant. Someone may be an optometrist and he goes to take the position of Dr. Devahudi as an ophthalmologist. He goes to operate someone's eye. I'm seeing that. Instead of directing that person, referring that person to an ophthalmologist, an optometrist is not an ophthalmologist. So if we don't know, I'm saying this because I've also seen cases where some devotees get really disappointed with our movement because their counselor gave them wrong counseling, which resulted to their fractured relationship. I know one guy in New York, Indian boy. He had a master's, he was working, both parents are doctors. And when he got married, the lady was trying to figure out some things. He spoke with his counselor in India, and then the counselor told him something. He should tell lies to the girl just to be able to marry. Okay, they married, but then the girl found out the lie. 5 years, the girl sued for divorce. Mother Bhumi says she can excuse anybody's offenses, but for one thing, for lies, she will not. It's there in the Bible. Can't remember the verse, but that's what Mother Bhumi said. So, yeah, when we have some things, people come to tell us some stories about their lives, and we don't have the knowledge-based areas to address it, we should refer it to somebody. You don't speculate. Time is gone, huh? Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagwatam. Yeah. Okay. The other question is very challenging.